What's going on, everyone? By now, I'm sure you heard about the Detroit Pistons and Utah Jazz trade with Bojan Bogdanovic going to the Detroit Pistons and Kelly Olynyk and Saban Lee going to the Utah Jazz. But here's the problem. They have so many players, for one, and two, have so many big men. So you imagine some people are going to get waived. And even Bobby Marks broke this trade down, had this whole discussion, and talked about the Detroit side, right? From Detroit side, it makes a lot of sense. You get this veteran guy. It's also a trade asset that they could use. He even breaks down like a potential trade, like the Lakers wanted Bojan Bogdanovic. They could work something like that out. I even did a video breaking that down. I'll link that video down in the description below. But he also talks about the other side, which is the Jazz. The Jazz send out Bogdanovic, right? He's now a Detroit Piston. And they got back two players that doesn't really make sense because beyond the trade, obviously it saved a little salary, but they didn't get any assets in return. And now they have to waive at least three players, which, yes, you save $5 million, so you could just waive guys, but you have guys like Vanderbilt. You have Lauri Markkanen. Now you have Kelly Olynyk. You have Walker Kessler. You have just a plethora of bigs. So are you waiving Kelly Olynyk? Which, if you're going to waive players, you would want to waive the fewest cost players, right? You'd want to waive the players that are going to cost the fewest because you're just burning money. So if you're going to burn money, you might as well burn, like a Stanley Johnson or something along those lines. That would be the best scenario for the Detroit or for the Utah Jazz. But then you have this just logjam between guards and players and just everything, right? They have so many mix and match players, which you're a rebuilding team. Don't you want to move off of some of your veterans? That was the point, right? Jordan Clarkson. Now, Jordan Clarkson even recently was asked, what do you think is going to happen with the trade? And he said, hey, I've been in this league 9 years. I'm a young vet. I understand how this works. If it happens type thing. Mike Conley is going to be a lot harder to move just because he has that $22 million a year contract. He's older, things like that. I see Jordan Clarkson as a real asset. But insert the Lakers. Now, obviously, they can't get Bogdanovic in a Jazz trade, but even Bobby Marks brought up that, look, Utah's got another move in the works. Whatever that is, he wasn't reporting that there is or anything like that, but he's just saying, like, there has to be something else in the works because there's no way that Danny Ainge did this deal, took on two players, even though he saved $5 million in cap space, to just buy out three guys. So obviously he's got to have something else in the works, whether that gets included in the deal or becomes a separate deal. Very likely this deal will be finalized tomorrow, and that's when the Detroit Pistons can move some guys. That's when, the Utah Jazz can start moving guys. Now, if you're the Lakers, obviously you're not doing Westbrook in anything for just Beasley and Clarkson. It's not going to happen, right? It makes no sense. But what if you could get, say, a Beasley, Clarkson, and maybe a Vanderbilt? Now you get Beasley, Vanderbilt, and Clarkson. Would that be something that the Lakers would be interested in? And now you get Vanderbilt. Now, look, I'm not saying that this will happen. I'm not saying that this will get done. I'm not saying anything. But at some point, Utah's got to try to get some assets back for these guys. Otherwise, you're just burning, dude. You need to move some vets. You move Jordan Clarkson in the deal. Maybe you could work something out to where they take Mike Conley too, and you take back Kendrick Nunn. Like, maybe that happens, which, is that the end of the world? Like, if you're the Lakers, and you don't have to give up both firsts now, just based on the value of what they just gave up Bojan Bogdanovic for. So, in that case, maybe you give up one first for Vanderbilt, Beasley, Conley, and Jordan Clarkson. Then maybe you could flip Jordan Clarkson or work that out in a 3-team deal, or just save him because now you move off of Nunn and you move off of Westbrook. So now Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley make more sense. You got a real starting point guard in Mike Conley that can play on the ball, off the ball. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility to do that. And clearly, Utah values money over assets because they just proved that in the Detroit deal. So if you're the Lakers, you're looking at this as like, we're not going to give you first. We're not giving you two first. We'll take Mike Conley, right? Because you have to waive at least three guys. We'll take Conley. We'll take Beasley. We'll take Clarkson, but you're throwing in Vanderbilt now. You don't need Vanderbilt because you have Olynyk, you have Lauri Markkanen, you have Walker Kessler. Beasley, he's the odd man. We're taking all of your problems and they all go away. You're also saving money this year and next year. It's a perfect scenario. And now it's a win-win. I'm not saying that this will get done. I'm not saying that Utah will do this because especially since they just traded Bogdanovic. But the Lakers got to be trying to work some deal out behind the scenes. We haven't really heard anything. There's got to be something going on. And same thing with the Wolves. So you got Kelly Olynyk. What are you going to have 4, centers? And then you're going to have 10 guards? And it makes no sense. You went and got Lauri Markkanen. You went and got Walker Kessler. You went and got Colin Sexton. Right? You got your guys that you want to start and build your future with. So you need to move off of guys like Conley. You need to move off guys like Clarkson. You need to move off of guys like Beasley. And Vanderbilt, I'm sure that they would love to keep. But also, if you're the Lakers, you'd feel more comfortable giving up at least one first to get Vanderbilt and Beasley. Because, look, Utah, personally, I wouldn't give them anything. I would be like, look, you get a pick swap in 2 seconds now. But I think in reality, to really move the needle for Vanderbilt, you're offering, look, we'll give you Westbrook. We'll take these 4 guys, which we're taking Conley's contract. We're taking Jordan Clarkson's contract. But you're giving us Vanderbilt, and we'll give you this. I think that would be the fairest trade possible because the Utah Jazz have to cave at some point, And look, are they just going to keep unloading guys, 1 for 2 deals, and they're just going to, waive 5 guys? At some point, Danny Ainge has to do something to consolidate this roster, to move down off of this roster. Maybe it's not the Lakers, but what other team, unless you're taking on bad contracts, is going to do that? Maybe Miami to move off of Duncan Robinson would give you Duncan Robinson's 4-year deal and take Olynyk and, Jordan Clarkson and, whatever. Yeah, maybe. But if you're the Jazz, that makes no sense, right? All you've done is added further to your problem, which I don't buy the whole cap space thing because you could have done the deal with the Suns and still done the same thing. You still could have cleared cap space, because it's not a 47, or you could have included Clarkson, which I guarantee you, if Utah said, we don't want any picks or just a pick swap, give us 1 pick swap in 2 seconds, but we want you to take Clarkson, Beasley, Conley, and Bogdanovic, and we'll take, Westbrook and Kendrick Nunn or whatever, however the money works. I guarantee you the Lakers probably would have done that. You would have cleared salary. You would have done everything. It would have served all your purpose, and you would have gotten some assets back. Now you're in a position where you're getting nothing back, and all of these teams know that. There's a reason that the Utah Jazz haven't gotten anything from anybody and basically just unloaded Bojan Bogdanovic to the Detroit Pistons because there's nobody's giving up first. They clearly overvalued their guys. You're not getting first for any of these guys. No team is going to give up first and give you an expiring deal that you can. It just makes no sense. If they would have gotten a first from Detroit, then that would have made sense because basically you're getting a first to just waive these 2 guys. At least you got some assets. Yeah, it's going to cost you some money, but hey, guess what? You saved a little money. You got an asset. Win-win, right? In that case. But you literally got nothing. You saved $5 million in cap space, which you could have done with the Suns. You could have done with the Lakers. You could have done with another team. It makes no sense. So maybe now the Lakers can say, hey, you have an even bigger problem now, and nobody's coming to save you, and we want Vanderbilt. I'm not saying that this will happen. I'm not saying, look, it's very, very likely now that either the Pacers deal is the deal that happens, which I still think could be the most realistic trade at this point that could happen. Either the Pacers deal happens, or I think the Lakers stand pat, because I did think it was the Utah deal. But I think if Utah would include Vanderbilt in the trade, I think the Lakers would do the trade. And the Utah Jazz might know that. Utah knows that they wanted Vanderbilt. We got the reports from the Jazz that the Lakers wanted Vanderbilt, but they wanted to keep Vanderbilt. So they might be looking at it as we didn't need Bojan to do this deal. We clear some cap space, so we stay under the tax threshold, and we could move these guys, give them Vanderbilt, and we still stay under the cap threshold, we still get, some assets, and we solve all our problems in one swoop. Like, that could be what Danny Ainge is thinking. I'm not saying that that is what's going to happen. I'm not saying that that's what he wants to do. I'm not saying that's what he should do. I'm just saying, like, it's a real possibility. It's something that is at least worth a discussion, at least worth the conversation. I mean, even Bobby Marks himself said as much. Like, not this deal specifically, but that, like, Utah has got to be looking at other deals. So it's just something to dwell on, something to think about. I think if the Lakers can end up with Vanderbilt, if you don't have to give up your first, because again, they value cap over anything, and you're doing them a huge solid. Yes, they're giving you Vanderbilt, but you're doing a huge solid. If you could give up one first or just a pick swap and 2 seconds, again, not saying Danny does this, but if you could do that, I would take on Conley, I would take on Clarkson, I would take on Vanderbilt, and I would take on Beasley. Give us those 4. We'll give you Westbrook. If you have to take none, you take none. And I think the Lakers would be better overall. And you solve your wing problem. You basically solve everything. You solve all your problems. And Utah fixes their problem. They get a first round pick. And this might be why they did that, so that way they could maybe take on Westbrook without giving on Conley, because now they're, I don't know. It's exploratory options. It's just a thought. It's just a theory, but it's worth talking about because it could be a real possibility. Look, I know people are like, the rumors and this, that, and the other. I get it, but until we know for certain, there's no way we know for certain right now. Till we know for a fact that they've gone into training camp with all these guys, I think anything is possible. We know Rob is still working on deals, still trying to figure out deals. He is, and it would be silly not to. If something doesn't happen this weekend, I think that's it. I think we got this weekend to get a deal done, because I don't think the Lakers are going to go into media day unless some team just caves like drastically. I don't think the Lakers are going into media day with Russell Westbrook and then just now doing a trade. I just don't see that. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. Let me know how you feel. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if you're not. Let me know whatever you think, however you feel about it. Love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. Quick little shameless plug, everyone. If you enjoy my videos and commentary here on this channel, As It Stands Lakers, then check out the link down in the description below and go subscribe to As It Stands. Believe it or not, As It Stands was the first channel. If it wasn't for that channel, this channel would never have existed. Because of the success of that channel, it led me to want to create this Lakers channel. So do me a huge solid. If you're not subscribed over there, go check that out. Go subscribe over there. I talk all things sports, all teams, things like that, not just the Lakers. So if you just enjoy my commentary and want to hear me talk about other things, or you just, are a fan of other sports and other teams, go check that out. I promise you will not be disappointed. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.